Well, he was described in Hot Press once as Ireland's greatest living poet.
He led the league in his press clippings, because we just had, a lot of critical acclaim for what he was doing.
Totally original, always very interesting, soulful, one of the best performers I've ever seen.
Don't forget, I'd put U2 on in the project with, Gavin Friday and the Virgin Prunes and Public Image and the Buzzcocks and Christy Moore, Donald Lunny. I swear to God, including all those concerts, the one up in Inwood with Pierce Turner, easily lived with any of those.
So this is my song for the year, and I'm the boy to be with. Well, I'm commuting between Wexford and Manhattan. I went to America purely because Larry Kerwin, my friend who I went to America with, had been there for a summer doing a student thing. He said that he had even played in this place, already, and they had his name in lights outside the bloody place, like some out in Philadelphia or somewhere like that. And I was like, what? It's like, so I mean, it sounded fantastic, the whole thing. And off we went. And found when we got there that really singing your own songs would mean starvation. So we had to sing Irish songs, which we didn't really know any of. The first night we played, we got $100 for singing Johnny Tinker, and we didn't even know it. I couldn't believe someone gave us a tip of $100. We were on the train going home, I thought it was $1. And I looked at it, it was $100. So playing Irish music, we did that for a year to raise the money to stop playing Irish music.
What do you think Wexford is to you?
It's like I am Wexford, it's like, it's inside of me, it's deeply there, it's part of my core, my mortal core. I don't rationalize it or intellectualize it, I'm just completely at one with Wexford.
This is a plaque that's dedicated to my grandfather, Jem Roach, who was the All-Ireland boxing champion, and he did actually fight. He was European champion too, heavyweight. He died before I was born, as you can see. So I never met him, but he was a great man. He also owned a hotel here in town, and he was a big influence on this town, actually. I'm sorry I never did meet him.
This is the bull ring.
And this is the bull ring, yeah. This is the man in the bull ring there. You see there? This represents 1798.
One night I saw a gig advertised for a fella called Pierce Turner, who I'd heard about. Out of that, I got friendly with the man who gave the concert, Pierce Turner, and I realised that there were more than, shall we say, two kind of Irish people. One I called the Pale Irish, who are those within the Dublin Pale. And then there are the Irish beyond the Pale, who we generally think of Kerry, Cork, west of Ireland, famine fields people. And there's a third kind of people who live in a corner of Ireland called the Southeast. And they're the men in 98. And they were the first, essentially, after the great loss of the north of Ireland, the O'Donnells and O'Neills, they were the first to rebel. Kind of Normandy, French stock, tough as nails, very sophisticated.
And this is also where Cromwell hounded down 300 people or something, and killed a whole bloody lot of them right here in this square here.
I'd never met people from this part of Ireland, even though I'd lived here. It was later I got to know Billy Roach and others. But it's a very strong artistic part of Ireland, and I think it's Pearse Turner is probably its most powerful representative.
When the morning comes down with its usual fog, it's time for me to
There's no question about it that if I was living in Wexford all my life and I had never left Wexford, that I probably never would have written about Wexford.
Jumps in the sea. On the far side of this little harbour of ours, where the fishing boats live.
Wake up in Manhattan with an idea actually can be put into practice very quickly and actually have an impact on the world even with the idea. You know, you don't really have that feeling when you're in Wexford.
They throw something in for old bones, and while he's swimming around, I look at my town and dream. Culturally so exciting, this city here, because first of all you have black culture, you have Puerto Ricans, you have Italians, Ukrainians, Jewish people, like just the list goes on forever, and they're all here together. It's so colourful that it's filled with inspiration and rhythm. There's a rhythm to the city of New York. It keeps your mind big.
Oh, it's right here and on record here?
Yes, because I have my studio here. I don't have equipment like this in Ireland. I would love to have, but I don't.
Pearse's concerts usually involve string quartet, drum machines, synthesizers, glockenspiels, or anything else he fancies playing. He's always received rave reviews, yet relies on a cult following to pack the venues.
How are you? You okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how close I am.
The celebrated minimalist composer Philip Glass championed Pearse's use of strings, and with his live shows acclaimed everywhere from the New York Times to the Limerick Leader, Pearse received a Hot Press Irish Music Award.
He could go on stage and just simply sit on a stool and sing his songs into a mic, but he doesn't.
No, I'm not letting go. I've been working for years. It's not asking too much to get a little more time.
You eventually end up being kind of immersed in the gig. Pearse will come around singing, playing, he'll come around behind you.
Trying to be blind and pain while my whole world's in a hurricane. Hey!
Well, I managed Pearse for several years in the late 80s. He, of course, was signed to Beggar's Banquet in London, Martin Mills' label.
It's not just Beggar's Banquet, it's XL, which has Bandit Drum Boy, and Foy D, who has TV on the radio and so on. And I suppose the kind of singer-songwriter element of what we have been doing, maybe Pearse was a precursor of in some way.
New Jersey white kid in his Sunday jeans.
One night I saw a gig advertised, and I went to the gig in this mad Irish pub on 207th and Broadway.
I'm going to wander.
It was for me the last concert of hope. You know, when you're young and you go to a concert and you think, you know, it's going to change your life. Well, I was so depressed, I needed something to change my life, and that did. And it gave me a kind of inspiration to kind of go back to my roots, which was where my left foot came from.
Folk legend Christy Moore recorded a tribute track called I Love the Way Pearse Turner Sings, and also versions of Wicklow Hills and Musha God Help Her.
He'll do all kinds of things with ribbons and posters on the wall. He'll order drinks from the bar. He'll dance on tables.
All them was spotless in their parents' home.
He actually makes it harder for himself and he takes risks.
A holy sacrament of matrimony with an animal.
And when the risks come off, it's absolutely superb. It's like no other Irish artist that I've ever seen.
My head is filled with noise. I'm purification. My thoughts said she is too. No one can leave on till this deal comes through.
I'll be in Ireland for the summer, yeah. New York is unbearable in the summer. People don't sleep well. The whole place is uniformly cranky. And you know, it's just a horrible thing. You can't sleep. The heat is unbearable. So
piano gigs lined up for summer? Or?
I have 16 lined up, 16 piano gigs so far for the summer. So it's going to be the piano gig summer.
Until the sun turns red, a glass of rosé, and into Killaloo. Yes, it's time now to run away with you. Run, 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 run away. To the wide open lakes, to the evening sun. Can you come here?
We'll do Wicklow Hills.
There's been a gene within his makeup that consciously or willfully or just out of blackguardness doesn't necessarily want to fit into anything.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It means that he can create whatever the bloody hell kind of song he wants to create without having somebody peering over his shoulder going, I don't hear a single.
Well, he's important to those who care about Irish music and those who care about its future. He may not be important to the massive people who just simply like Justin Timberlake albums, but those who want some substance in their music and want nourishment from it will go back to Piers Turner again and again.
One of the disappointments, if you like, in my career is that we didn't succeed in making Piers an awful lot more successful than he is, because I think he's every bit as talented as many of the artists we've mentioned here.
And you sometimes think when time goes by and all the boy bands are forgotten and nobody plays them anymore, and can you hear the Wicklow Hills or the way he adapted the Fate of Our Fathers, that will live, that's going to be the music from this time that will define something about the Irish. Piers is a very profound artist who I think will survive.
Since that night in the late 80s I'd first heard Pearse on the radio by the bed, the country had boomed and changed, and though the world is now far smaller, it seems even easier to be lost.
Your song, your song, your song.